Vitina. Vitina into Arsenal's half. Plays it inside now for Doué. Cross to Marquinhos. Now for Vitina. The moment with Pacho getting the ball now across to Mendes. Mendes down the line for Neves. Mendes Vitina. Vitina into Arsenal's half. Plays it inside now for Doué. Across to Marquinhos. Now for Vitina. The moment with Pacho getting the ball now across to Mendes. Mendes down the line for Neves. Mendes Vitina. Vitina into Arsenal's half. Plays it inside now for Doué. Across to Marquinhos. Now for Vitina. The moment with Pacho getting the ball now across to Mendes. Mendes down the line for Neves. Mendes Vitina. Vitina into Arsenal's half. Plays it inside now for Doué. Across to Marquinhos. And goes down under the challenge and wins a free kick. Just outside of his area. Pass from Hakimi goes all the way back to Donnarumma, and PSG will restart again. This time across to Pacho, now to Mendes. Saka closing down again. Mendes' clearance has been blocked by Saka, and it's watched out of play for a goal kick to PSG. It is Donnarumma that's going to take this goal kick. Straight up the middle towards Lee. First touch is too heavy and Timber wins it back. Goes back now to Saliba. Now to Gabriel onto the left hand side for Calafiori. Calafiori's pass inside for Trossard. Trossard with space to move into. Has an overlapping run on his left hand side. Twists and brings this inside instead. Onto his right foot. Plays it across to Timber. Timber out onto the right hand side now for Bukayo Saka. He's got the overlapping run being made now. He's managed to find the pass to Kai Havertz. Flag stays down this time. Havertz across the face of goal. There's nobody gambling for Arsenal. And it's been cleared at the back post by Hakimi. Onto the left-hand side. Barcola gets there. He's up against Saliba at the moment, though. Saliba's going back towards his own goal and slides in and has to get the ball back to David Raya. Otherwise, Barcola was through. And Raya's long ball upfield goes all the way through to Pacho. Plays this to Mendes, who goes all the way back to Donnarumma. Ball gets caught up on his feet inside the 6-yard box, but he's got time to recompose himself. And his ball upfield's headed away by Timber. Now to Partey, out to Saka on the right-hand side. Saka tries to beat his man. Mendes gets possession back, plays this back inside. Partey gets there first and goes all the way home to Gabriel, and Arsenal just calm things down once again. Back out to Rice, now to Partey up towards the halfway line. Partey onto the right hand side now for Timber at the halfway line, goes back to Partey again. Now equal with the centre circle. Now to Rice, back to Thomas Partey. Looking for that option on the left hand side, he's found Gabriel again. Now for Calafiori, who's got space to move into, but the ball held up slightly. Calafiori still gets away though and continues his run down that left hand side. Gives the ball now to Martinelli. Onto his right foot, gives it to Trossard. Trossard's ball in, it's met by the head of Kai Havertz, who's put it into the goal. The flag stayed down for now. We may get a VAR check, but Kai Havertz opens the scoring for Arsenal. It's a great ball in from Leandro Trossard on that left hand side. Brilliant build-up play, in fact. He managed to beat his man and continue the run down the left hand side. Put it onto his right foot, and Kai Havertz beat Marquinhos, beat Pacho, and got his head to get the ball past Donnarumma. And we'll get a VAR check to see if he was onside. I'll be able to tell you more when I see the replay. But the flag didn't go up, and there were no calls from PSG for Kai Havertz to be offside. As Luis Enrique is now giving instructions to his captain, it looks like it may even stand. It's going to be at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal 1, PSG 0. Just looking at the replay now, Trossard had the chance to do something with a shot, and when the cross comes in, Kai Havertz is clearly onside. Clearly onside, and Pacho just watched Kai Havertz make the run past him. And Nuno Mendes puts his hand up hoping that there's going to be a flag, but it's never going to come. Kai Havertz opens the scoring for Arsenal. He scored 2 goals in his last 2 games leading up to this game. He is a player in form, and you gift him opportunities like that, he will not miss them. 20 minutes gone at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 1, PSG 0. From kick-off, Lee goes all the way back to Marquinhos. His ball upfield goes all the way through for David Raya. Rolls us out now for Saliba. Takes it to the edge of the area. Passes us up to Havertz. Goes back again now to Timber. And now Saliba. Feints the pass back to David Raya. Chips this forward instead towards Saka. Header won by Mendes. Mikel Arteta wants a free kick. It's going to be a throw into Arsenal from just in front of the dugout on the right hand side. Arteta just calming things down for his side. It's Timber that comes across to take it. He's signed as a centre half for Arsenal. He's made 2 appearances in his time for Arsenal in that position, otherwise being used as a fullback. Pass now across to Marquinhos. Brings us up towards the halfway line. Kai Havertz closing down, goes across to Pacho again. Quick 1-2 with Vitinha, he gets the ball back. Now to Marquinhos, to Hakimi. Through it goes this time for Lee. Lee lays the ball off once. Onto the right hand side again for Hakimi. This time finds Doué. Doué back to Marquinhos. It's inside now for Vitinha again. Trying to work at opening in that midfield. Now gets the pass to Barcola. It's a weak pass though, and it's been gifted back as possession to Arsenal. And Kai Havertz makes a run on the left hand side. Inside he's got Trossard. Gives it to Martinelli. Martinelli continues his run down that left hand side. Goes all the way back though instead to find Calafiori, and it's too heavy of a pass. It's going to go out of play for a throw-in for PSG on the right hand side. And it gives them a chance to quickly regroup as it's taken by Hakimi, headed back from Vitinha. And back to Marquinhos, across this time to Pacho. Pacho now to Mendes on the left hand side. Mendes has ball down the line. Dropped off by Barcola. Tackle comes in from Timber. Brings Lee Kang-in back down to ground. It's going to be a free kick to PSG. On the left hand side, Mendes goes across to take it. Does have some short options nearby for him. Goes all the way back. This time for Pacho. Pacho goes back to Donnarumma. PSG will start this build-up from the back again. Donnarumma closed down by Trossard. Has to send the ball upfield. Header won though by Timber. And as far as Vitinha, then Partey wins it back for Arsenal. Declan Rice now goes back towards his own half. Gives the ball now to Saliba. Across to Gabriel inside the centre circle, inside their own half. Across to Saliba again. Now to Timber on the right hand side. Goes all the way back to David Raya, just outside of his area. Goes down now though again by Barcola. He's had to go onto the left hand side, and PSG with a high press at the moment. They look more dangerous when Arsenal are in possession than they do when they're in possession themselves, just because of the high press that they're providing for Arsenal inside their own half at the moment. Now it's with Neves. Neves across again to Vitinha. And to the right hand side for Hakimi. Now back to Zaire Emery and to Marquinhos.
Commentary, that's on BBC Online, the BBC Sport website. Also lead Fleetwood now 2-1 in League 2. As Paris Saint-Germain trailing by a goal to nil here in the Champions League with 13 minutes to go to half-time. But they lose the ball as Declan Rice plays it back to Gabriel, picks out the England international on that side and plays it down the line, left-hand side to Martinelli. Trossard flicks it back. This is coming forward now. He's overhit that and it goes away from a rather flat-footed Martinelli. Well, yes, it does go out of play. Throw to Paris Saint-Germain.
Well, we know they can defend Arsenal and we know they're quite comfortable without the ball, and they just seem okay with that at the moment, just to stay within their shape, to make sure they're not giving any real big opportunity away. But that's just going to encourage PSG. We're starting to see them just have a bit more of the ball. The territory they have in the ball is now becoming more and more advanced inside the Arsenal half. Arsenal just need to regain possession for 5 minutes or so.
Zaire Emery coming forward, the young French international, but Gabriel came from behind him and then just marshalled the ball safely out for a goal kick, whips up the crowd who respond. Certainly they were thrilled to see that, what looked like effortless defending from Gabriel.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, he is so strong, but it was the manner in which he read, I'd say, what he was trying to do before, just stepping across and making sure he wasn't going to get the ball back. You're not getting past me. I'm going to earn my team a goal kick, relieve the pressure. But again, Arsenal starting to play out just a little bit sloppy in possession.
That's Leon Osman, the former England international, who's with us here tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. Harrogate nil, MK Dons 2, the latest score in League 2. Arsenal leading by a goal to nil. Manchester City still 2-0 up in Bratislava. Borussia Dortmund leads Celtic by 3 goals to 1. As this is Saliba. Saliba finds Partey on the edge of the centre circle. Nice ball forward to Trossard. About 10 yards in distance, a diagonal pass. Now it's with Saka. Running on his toes on this near side, the right. Can't get past Nuno Mendes, who slips, but quickly back to his feet. And then Saka was pushed over, surely. Free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, he did well to win that set piece there. Saka tried to run at Mendes initially. Had no joy, managed to win the ball back and just sucked Mendes into just being a bit too tight, a bit too naive in his attempt to go get the ball. Saka happy to go down, take the set piece. But again, just before that, the main piece was the position that Trossard is managing to pick up on the far side for the majority of this 34 minutes, but he's starting to find a few pockets closer to Bukayo Saka.
So Saka waits, almost level with the penalty area on the right-hand side, as Arsenal play from left to right, leading by a goal to nil. Barcelona 2, Young Boys 0 is the latest score in the Champions League. Harrogate 0, MK Dons 3. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. So this is on the right-hand side. There must be at least 4 Arsenal players that have gathered on that far side of the penalty area. Saka waits patiently. Now they make a run. A cluster of them. Saka hits it in low. Martinelli gets the flick, and it goes all the way through. Arsenal always cause problems at set pieces. And the Paris Saint-Germain defence didn't know what to deal with a run. Whether Martinelli got the flick or it was just enough to deceive them. They're going to Saka for the congratulations. But Arsenal have increased their lead 10 minutes before half-time, 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2-0 to Arsenal. It's a direct free kick from Bukayo Saka that misses absolutely everybody. And whether that was by design or whether he just didn't quite catch it as sweetly as he probably should have done. We're just seeing a replay now. There's an outside chance. Partey was in an offside position. Whether they say he was deeming in play, we'll soon see. But yeah, Arsenal start at the back post like they tend to do on a lot of set pieces. In doing so, as Saka's about to take the set piece, they all dart across. the front post, in around areas. Everybody missed it, and there was nothing Donnarumma could really do about it. My question was, in the moment that somebody went for the ball, I think it was Martinelli, everybody missed it. It was Thomas Partey in an offside position, but he clearly missed the ball. So Everton's okay, Arsenal 2-0.
And the fact that, VAR as a matter of course would have had a look at it, but we're already back underway. Arsenal leading now by 2-0. It's amazing that three players who all made that run towards the near post, Martinelli, Partey, I think Timber might have been the other, none of them could get a touch. However, they did enough to put off the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, if you fire one inside the width of the goal and you get bodies running across, everybody misses it. Usually the goalkeeper is expected to probably have a bit of patience and keep his eye on the ball, but as we said, there was three bodies, not one, and he just lost sight of the ball. He couldn't tell where it was, and the moment you see him in the replay, when he does realise where it is, it's just too close to him for him to react, and it sails by him. But as I said, I've seen Bukayo Saka hit a lot better free kicks. I'm not completely convinced he didn't scuff that a little bit, but he won't care, and neither will Arsenal, because it's put them 2-0 ahead.
Bukayo Saka has now wrestled the ball away from Mendes, and Arsenal now have their tails up. Havertz to Partey, 25 yards out from goal, about 6-8 yards in from the right touchline. Saka tries to enter the penalty area now on this right hand side, but there was Pacho to stop him, helped out by João Neves, and Neves now plays it forward, but Arsenal won it back. They've done well on this right hand side. Partey to Trossard trying to get away from Neves, and it goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. Looking to extend this unbeaten run under Mikel Arteta. 14 games undefeated. It's his best run as an Arsenal manager. And they're playing with a lot of confidence here as the throw from the right, taken in by Saka. Saka waiting, looking to deliver the cross to Solo, and Trossard almost on the end of it.
Well, I think he was on the end of it. I just don't think he made the desired contact, and Arsenal are now camped in this PSG final third inside the penalty area. They've scored the second goal. The crowd are behind. PSG have given the ball away 2 or 3 occasions since that second goal, deep inside their own final third. So you just look at the clock, you look at the moment, you look at the momentum, and you think if Arsenal could just use this momentum now to get that third goal just before half time, you'd probably think that that'll be enough to win the game.
Mind you, here at the weekend, when they were 2-0 up against Leicester City and it looked a formality, we were saying, oh yeah, game over, and then obviously Leicester City produced a bit of a scare for Arsenal. Barcelona 3, Young Boys 0 is the latest score in the Champions League. Half-time at Sunderland, Rob Law.
Sunderland have dominated the first half. They lead by a goal to 0, and it came 5 minutes before the breakthrough. Joe Bellingham, who powered an effort into the top corner, 20 yards out. Derby have looked dangerous in spells, but Sunderland deserve the lead. They lead by a goal to 0 at the break.
And half-time at Newcastle, Charlie Slater.
Whereas Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0, stoppage time penalty the difference. Almiron down inside the box. 5 seconds went by, but eventually the assistant flagged for a penalty. Fabian Schär sent the keeper the wrong way. Newcastle ahead, 1-0 at the break.
Commentary of that for the second half will be on the BBC Sport website. The winners will be at home to Chelsea in round 4. 2-0 to Arsenal, 5 minutes to go to half-time. Leon Osman.
Yeah, as I said, Arsenal have really got this PSG team just on the ropes. Again, PSG forced into giving the ball away. You just mentioned about 2 goals Arsenal, yes, certainly conceded from, but you just think if they can make it 3, and get that third goal before half-time, if you can really force the issue here, then it's an incredibly big hill to have to climb in the second. For any PSG team.
Saka down the right touchline, finds Havertz. Saka goes on ahead of him. Havertz finds him, comes inside the penalty area, sliding challenge away from Zaire Emery. Arsenal again lost it, but they win it back quickly. Back towards Saka from Trossard, couldn't offside. Put him back to an offside position. Arsenal's desire levels to win the ball back have been terrific tonight.
Yeah, and they're pairing at the minute, literally enjoying themselves. They've spent the last probably 10 minutes or so inside the PSG half. The fans are certainly right behind the team at the moment, and just for a moment there I thought Bukayo Saka had just skipped by Zaire Emery. Maybe he might win a penalty kick, maybe he'd get through one-on-one with Donnarumma. Fine margins at this level.
Borussia Dortmund 4, Celtic 1 is a latest score in the Westfalenstadion. Watching is Gavin Wallace.
Yes, Sergio Ganassi from the spot. Ian Schmeichel.
Arsenal players doing so in the Premier League over the last couple of weekends. I think there was raised emotions there.
Slavko Vincic didn't take any action as Saka waits to take this free kick for Arsenal. Paris Saint-Germain have got a really high line to try and give as much protection to Donnarumma from Arsenal's threat at set pieces. They must be over 25 yards out from goal, this line of Paris Saint-Germain, and at the moment you've got 4 Arsenal players currently standing in an offside position. Rice and Saka wait to take it. Partey's been budged away off the ball by Barcola. Martinelli's just been down on one knee as well. So Saka and Rice wait to take this free kick, leading by 2-0. In the end, it's now taken short. Touch back to Saka, curls it in, long way, curls all the way through, out for a goal kick. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Arsenal lead 2-0. Gavin Wallace with that 5th Dortmund goal.
Adeyemi's on a hat-trick now, Ian. It's really poor. Maeda and McGregor don't talk at the back. Adeyemi steps in, takes a step off to the left, and with his left foot slots it into the opposite corner. Schmeichel no chance. Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
Saka incidentally was credited with that second goal, despite the best efforts of 3 of his teammates to get on the end of it. There's a stream of Arsenal supporters just away towards our left, filed towards the concourse for their half-time refreshments. As we look to that left-hand side Paris Saint-Germain attack.
The refreshments must be wonderful here, the speed at which these Arsenal fans are moving towards them.
You fancy joining the
Yes, I do.
queue? Here is Vitinha waiting inside the last 60 seconds then for what has been a very good half for Arsenal. Has been the odd scare when you think that Nuno Mendes did hit the post and Raya had to make that save at his near post. Here is Vitinha, passes the ball square, and now Marquinhos out towards Hakimi on that far side with his pace, looks to accelerate, and his cross is gathered in by David Raya. But by and large they protected David Raya well.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned the chances, but they were either from Arsenal giving the ball away, Bukayo Saka on the edge of the penalty area, a counter-attack in one moment. And, you know, Arsenal, other than that, have been quite composed. They've been quite assured. They've not really been threatened. You just think that this team could probably produce a moment of individual magic. They just have to be wary of that. But up to now, Arsenal have been comfortable.
Raya goes long. Marquinhos deals with the presence of Havertz. The ball is played now to Nuno Mendes, the left back. We'll find out how much stoppage time we're into. And we've just got the additional 60 seconds here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Also available on the BBC Sounds app for the first of 3 consecutive nights of European action. Villa Park tomorrow, Aston Villa against Bayern Munich. Porto, Manchester United on Thursday night, live from the Estadio Dragao. As here now is Mendes to come forward, holds off Rice, comes on the inside of Rice, who's back goal side. Zaire Emery, left-hand side, looking for the return run of Nuno Mendes, but too far ahead of him. And once again, Arsenal defending that superbly. And that should be it for the first half.
Yeah, it should. That's what I expected to see more from Paris. And they nearly did find something there, and I expected once Enrique's off.
They've reached half-time in Bratislava.
Shown real quality in real moments. They've had a good tactical awareness. What Mikel Arteta has done in the position of Trossard, getting him either side of this PSG midfield, picking up brilliant possession of the ball, has been key in that first half, and they've took their chances when they've come along. So I think they'll be really pleased with how that first half's gone.
They certainly will. Arsenal 2, Paris Saint-Germain 0. Kelly.
Deno, thank you very much for that. Leon, that second goal from Arsenal, yes, it's another set piece, and we know they're brilliant from set pieces, but that was on the more unusual side, wasn't it?
Well, as you said, Arsenal scoring from a set piece isn't unusual. Even the way they lined up, the free kick is on the near side and on the right-hand side of the attack, right near the touchline for Arsenal, and as is now accustomed, Arsenal's entire team seemed to line up on the far side of the penalty area. No one anywhere near that line, that defensive line of PSG, who are obviously spread out across, probably I think they were about 12 yards out. Just as Saka's about to take the set piece, they all come running in, as you'd expect, to try and get on the end of a quality cross, but it wasn't. I'm pretty sure Saka scuffed it, but because of the movement, because of the panic from those PSG players of not knowing who they're up against, not knowing when the player is from Arsenal is going to come and get across them, there's a lot of uncertainty, and it just took for Martinelli to jump over the ball and Partey to miss the ball, and suddenly Donnarumma just didn't really give himself an opportunity to make the save. So yes, it was unusual in the fact that I think Bukayo Saka will hit better ones and Arsenal's set pieces will look a lot prettier on the eye, but it was just as effective as any other, and it gave them the second goal, which has been important in the game.
Leon, thanks very much for now. Leon Osman and Ian Dennis are at the Emirates for Arsenal against PSG, and it's been relatively straightforward for Arsenal so far. They have that 2-goal advantage at the break. Meanwhile, relatively straightforward for Manchester City as well. Conor McNamara is watching them.
Absolutely. Slovan Bratislava 0, Manchester City 2. Ilkay Gundogan's deflected shot gave City the lead after 8 minutes. The German's first goal since returning to the club from Barcelona. Overall, it's the 12th Champions League goal of his career. Phil Foden delivered City's second, guided low into the bottom corner. And just to emphasise how one-sided this has been, City, since going 2-0 up, have hit the frame of the goal 3 times. Foden, Doku and Gundogan all either hitting the post or the crossbar. So no exaggeration to say this could be 5-0. It's Slovan Bratislava 0, Manchester City 2 at the break.
Conor, thank you very much. Gavin Wallace said before kick-off in the game between Borussia Dortmund and Celtic that it was going to be eventful, but maybe not the way Celtic would have wanted tonight, Gavin.
Absolutely not, no. Dortmund 5, Celtic 1. A very humbling and sobering opening 45 for Celtic. Karim Adeyemi is the one grabbing all the headlines with a hat-trick in the opening 45. Emre Can with a penalty that went straight down the middle as Gittins was upended by Schmeichel, and Sirou Guirassy also with a penalty 5 minutes before half-time. Celtic really exposed, and it's damage limitation in the next 45. Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
Gavin, thank you very much for that. So that's us up to date with the British sides in Champions League action tonight. John Bennett is across everything else. John.
And Barcelona are well on their way to their first Champions League win of the season. Barcelona 3, Young Boys 0. Robert Lewandowski tapping in his 95th Champions League goal. Then Rafinha and Inigo Martinez scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. It's Inter 1, Red Star Belgrade 0. Hakan Çalhanoğlu proving yet again he's one of the best free kick takers in the world. Surprisingly, Bayer Leverkusen 0, AC Milan 0. Victor Boniface had a goal disallowed for the German side. And PSV 1, Sporting, goal of the night contender from the Dutch international Jordi Schouten, an effort from 25 yards out.
John, thank you very much for that. So we're across everything that's happening in the Champions League this evening and in the EFL Cup and the Championship. But after Iran's missile attacks on Israel tonight, we have an extended news summary. Here's Nick Bright.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kelly. Nick Bright and Nick Hatfield here with the latest on the situation. in Israel earlier as Iran launched dozens of missiles into the country. Nick Hatfield has the details.
Nick, yes, Israel says around 180 missiles were fired from Iran. Explosions lit up the night skies above Tel Aviv and Jerusalem as the rockets were shot down by the Iron Dome missile defense system. Israel says the attack has now stopped and it's not aware of any casualties. Dina Kraft is Israel correspondent for Christian Science Monitor and is in Tel Aviv. She spoke to 5 Live as the missiles were launched.
So I'm in my apartment building. I'm just outside the door of my shelter here, where I was gathered with about 30.
In the meantime, here on 5 Live, we're going to head back.
And Jakub Kiwior is the player who has come on, and it's Jurrien Timber who has gone off. Meanwhile, there's been a goal at the Stadium of Light. Rob Law.
Their lead, they're 2-0 up now against Derby County. Romain Mundell down the left-hand side. Low cross into Wilson Isidore to tap in from 6 yards. Sunderland 2, Derby 0 with 56 minutes on the clock.
Luton Town 2, Oxford United 2 is the latest score in the Championship. Barnsley have equalised at home to Wycombe, that's in League 1. Tranmere 1, Swindon 1, Walsall 2, Fleetwood 2. So Fleetwood with an equaliser at the Bescott Stadium. Coventry City now lead Blackburn by 2 goals to 0. That could be the end of their unbeaten start to the season for John Eustace's side. Wigan lead Peterborough 2-0, and it's Bromley 2, Chesterfield 2, Barnsley 0, Wycombe 1. So you're up to date with the goals that have been scored early on in the other games on what is a busy night of Football League action. BBC Radio 5 Live and also on the BBC Sounds app, as Arsenal in their red and white shirts and white shorts, playing from right to left as we look, are attacking there from right to left. And I'll give you the two teams in a moment, as Kiwior is playing as a left back and Calafiore is the one who's switched to right back. So Raya in goal, Calafiore, Saliba, Gabriel and Kiwior, Partey, Rice and Havertz, Saka, Trossard and Martinelli. And Paris Saint-Germain in their all navy with that broad red stripe going through the middle, vertical stripe through the middle of their shirts. Donnarumma in goal, back four of Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes, Zaire Emery, Vitinha and Neves, Doué, Lee and Barcola. In fact, Fleetwood are now leading 3-2 at Walsall, and Bristol Rovers are 2-0 up against Charlton. So really, from an Arsenal point of view, there was a bounce of the ball, actually beats Calafiore, and Barcola pulls it back. Hakimi might get on the end of it, runs over the ball, and Declan Rice can bring it away. They conceded early against Leicester. It's just their game management now.
Yeah, and Calafiore there just in chase and back, and as we mentioned, he's now over on that right-hand side defensively, up against Barcola. Long ball over the top, and he just lost his concentration for a moment, missed the ball. Barcola got it, stepped inside that Arsenal penalty area, and for a moment I thought he was going to give a penalty kick away. So yeah, it's a different role for him in the second half, but he's going to be tested.
Vitinha darts forward, links up with Lee. Ball goes back to Zaire Emery. Now the South Korean Lee takes over once again. Somebody who they signed from Mallorca in 2023, previous at Valencia. 30 caps for South Korea. He's very experienced. He's actually already played in 4 different positions across the front for Paris Saint-Germain this season. As Bolton Wanderers have got a third at Sixfields. Northampton Town 0, Bolton 3 is the latest score in League 1. Hakimi seeing a lot of the ball, Paris Saint-Germain, in the early stages of this second half here on 5 Live. João Neves squares it, Marquinhos. They've committed everybody forward, every outfield player in the Arsenal half. Out to this near side, Lee curls it, left-footed, and cleared by Calafiore. Left-footed clearance as it dropped around knee height, and there's a Paris Saint-Germain player who's gone down. I think it's João Neves who's picked up a bit of a knock here, and it'll be a Paris Saint-Germain free kick. In fact, it's Vitinha, central position, midway through the Arsenal half.
Yeah, Paris Saint-Germain started this second half much better than Arsenal have. As you said, they took control of the ball, they're forcing Arsenal backwards, they've not really threatened. I mean, they just tried to cross the ball, which was more than they really tried in the first half. Did have bodies in there. I don't think the stature of the players attacking it in João Neves, Vitinha and Lee are the type of players that Gabriel and Saliba will be too concerned about. But you can't keep allowing a team as good as PSG to keep possession of the ball in your third, delivering crosses in, because eventually with their quality they will find their target.
Their supporters have been brilliant tonight. They've been singing incessantly, and they're still making a lot of noise despite their side trailing by 2-0. They might be buoyed by the fact that they've actually scored in each of their last 51 group stage / league phase games in the Champions League, all the way back to when they drew a blank against Real Madrid some 9 years ago. Although the days of Messi and Neymar and Mbappe are now behind them, still do have a talented group of players, Paris Saint-Germain. who started well. They're unbeaten in 10 since they lost to Toulouse at home back in May, as they look for a way back into this game here in North London. It's a lot to expect Celtic to get anything back into that game in Dortmund. Gavin Wallace.
Excuse me, Ian, yeah, it might be. But the good thing for them is Adeyemi's just went off. I suspect it might be a hamstring or something. He's been replaced by the Belgian international, Duranville. But he got such a big impact on that first half. Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
I'd suggest a glass of water, and I hope the voice recovers, Gavin. As Birmingham City lead Huddersfield Town by a goal to nil. Birmingham, leaders of League One, still unbeaten, 1-0 up. Port Vale 1, Colchester United 0 is the latest score in League Two. Now Arsenal were breaking whilst we were away with Gavin. The referee had spotted an infringement and brought play back for a free kick to Paris.
Yeah, I mean, Bukayo Saka just touched the pole and it ricocheted up into his arm. It did hit his arm, but the referee took an age. Saka had took the ball down, took about 4 or 5 more touches, was driving forward before the referee actually brought the decision back.
Strong run by Declan Rice down the left touchline. I thought he'd actually run out of playing surface, but he was teetering down the touchline on this near side to left. We actually thought that he'd got a corner kick, but the referee, Slavko Vincic, thinks otherwise and has said a goal kick. But it was a wonderful run of strength and poise and balance.
Yeah, he was just holding 2 PSG players off. Zaire Emery, I think it was Vitinha, as if they were at a different level to him.
Havertz flicks it forward, and Martinelli with a volley left footed straight at Donnarumma. Could easily have been a third.
Should have been a third. Left foot volley, caught it sweetly, 12, maybe 13 yards out, centre of the goal, and he hit it really well, to be fair to him. Martinelli, good play again from Arsenal, good pressure, winning the ball in advanced areas, putting that PSG defensive line under pressure. But if you get an effort from there, you expect to see it hit the back of the goal. Donnarumma's a fantastic goalkeeper, and he made a wonderful save, but he shouldn't have been given the opportunity to make that save on that occasion.
A reminder, Champions League final score is available on the red button and the iPlayer. See all the goals on the video printer as they go in on this busy night, both in Europe and domestically. And the Champions League highlights are on BBC One tomorrow, 10:40, to see all the goals during match day 2 of this new league phase. Vitinha in possession for Paris Saint-Germain. Diagonal forward ball finds Lee, able to turn, lifts it out towards Nuno Mendes far side, low ball into the penalty area, and Rice manages to clear as Barcelona have got a 4th goal. Barcelona 4, Young Boys 0, so they conceded 3 against Aston Villa, and Barcelona have now put 4 past them, and Leeds United have got an equaliser at Carrow Road in the Championship. Back-to-back wins, lying 5th in the table. Norwich 1, Leeds United 1. But noticeable that Paris Saint-Germain here are seeing a lot more of the ball this second half.
Yeah, they are, and I think they feel encouraged. They've got bodies central. Barcola seems to have gone right through the middle. I don't know if Doué's gone out to that left-hand side. I'll just keep an eye on that one. Maybe they've changed the shape slightly. I just think that Martinelli chance, though. This is a team growing in confidence in the second half, PSG, but that would have killed the game. And have come out, shown a bit second half, and then concede a third. That could have been game over. But at the moment, they're looking sharp.
The referee has given a free kick in favour of Arsenal. Kivior, it's Trossard who's actually down, isn't it? He's rubbing furiously his left leg. Kivior wanted play to continue. Luis Enrique not impressed whatsoever for actually what is his 50th game in UEFA competition as a head coach. His first was for Roma some 13 years ago. Doesn't look like it's going to be a winning night for him. He's still chuntering away to himself and pointing with an accusing finger in the direction of the referee as Trossard is back on his feet, but he's still feeling that knock to the left leg.
Yeah, it's his left knee he's holding. There was some contact on the outside of his left knee as he had his leg planted, and you can never be too sure when it comes to joints. Knocks on, and whether it can just be a knock or something more. So Mikel Arteta will be keeping a close eye on that. He's had a good game, Trossard. been involved in all of the best bits of play, as he was for that Martinelli chance moments ago.
Cheltenham 1, Accrington Stanley 1 is the latest score in League 2. As Trossard wins a ball on the edge of the Paris Saint-Germain penalty area. Wasn't kept in play. It'll gone behind for a goal kick that Donnarumma looks to take. Cheltenham 1, Accrington 1 is the latest score in League 2. We'll get an update from the Hawthorns now. Lee Blakeman.
West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 0, just underway in the second half after Middlesbrough dominated the first with a string of good chances, especially for Finn Azaz. It's West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Thanks, Lee. No other goals to tell you about. Mistake by Zaire Emery. Martinelli with the cross from the left-hand side comes off the chest of Marquinhos. And it's an Arsenal corner kick as they lead 2-0 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, good pressure from Arsenal. They've been much better at that second half, being prepared to be brave and press PSG as soon as Donnarumma plays the ball out from the back. And they've been getting some rewards in this second half. Martinelli chance moments ago came from just such occasion. That time driving inside the penalty area again, Martinelli on this left-hand side after Declan Rice won the ball back. Really positive in the way they're going about pressurising this PSG team.
Now they've already scored with a direct free kick. We know the threat that they present from set pieces. It's a corner kick near side the left. There are 4 Arsenal players running in from that far post now. As the corner comes in from the left-hand side and it's gathered in by Donnarumma. And Nicholas Jover, the set-piece coach, slaps his hands down on both thighs in frustration. Counter-attack maybe for Paris Saint-Germain, but the ball from the outside of the boot over on that right-hand side goes straight through to David Raya. Bayer Leverkusen are leading Milan by a goal to 0. I'll be honest with you, I thought they'd scored earlier, but it must have been ruled out through VAR. But Leverkusen 1, Milan 0 is a latest score. Cheltenham 1, Accrington 1, Walsall 2, Fleetwood Town 4. As the ball is cleared away by Gabriel to Calafiore. Shown his versatility tonight, hasn't he, Calafiore?
Well, he played a free role basically when he was left back, and he seems to still be playing that now. He's moved over to right back. He's popping up everywhere.
Now all of a sudden, strong run from Mendes, and unable to pick out Desire Doure, who's 19 years of age, this French forward who's actually yet to score for Paris Saint-Germain since they signed him from Rennes in the summer. He rejected an offer to go to Bayern Munich. At times you feel as if his inexperience has just proved a little bit costly at times for him. Manchester City have got a third in Bratislava, Erling Haaland. News of that to come. Here though is Saka meanwhile. Declan Rice collects it, helps it on to Martinelli. Martinelli left-hand side of the penalty area, left-footed cross, waiting is Havertz with a downward header and smothered by Donnarumma at the floor.
Yeah, it was a difficult one that for Kai Havertz. Martinelli floated one up to the far post and a nice ball to the back post, but it lacked any kind of power and he was backing into it. Made that save easy for Donnarumma, but PSG in the second half have had 2 opportunities now to counter-attack. They're leaving bodies up front. When Arsenal attack, they're leaving 2 players right on the halfway line in a position. If Donnarumma wins the ball, he can get the ball out to him quickly. He took a brilliant tackle there. I think it was from Saliba to thwart that one.
Paris Saint-Germain are certainly showing a lot more with the ball, the possession that they're keeping, and forcing Arsenal back in this second half. Lincoln City are down to 10 men. Adam Jackson's been sent off, but it's still Blackpool 0, Lincoln 0. Steve Bruce looking for a 5th successive win. That a run that has propelled them up the table in League One as Vitinha curls it out towards Hakimi. Midway through the Arsenal half on this near side the right. Martinelli waits, looks it inside to Lee. Let's get news then of that City goal. Conor McNamara.
Scored by Erling Haaland, just short of the hour mark. Slovan Bratislava 0, Manchester City 3. Lovely through ball by Rico Lewis into the path of the Norwegian. Dummied a shot, took it around the goalkeeper's side foot into the back of the net. Bratislava 0, Manchester City 3.
Paris Saint-Germain here 2-0 down at the Emirates in this Champions League game. In this league phase, Vitinha plays it to Zaire Emery, able to turn. Doué out to Neves, far side the left. Bristol Rovers 3, Charlton 0 is the latest score in League One. Manchester City actually feature in 4 games that will bring you over the weekend in the Premier League. Manchester City, Fulham at 3 with the usual goal service. Everton, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Manchester United and Brighton Spurs. There are 4 games in the Premier League this weekend. They're all on 5 Live. As here is Vitinha. We've got tomorrow night and Thursday night of European football. Before that, Hakimi holds off Martinelli right hand side. Block comes in from Kiwior. Martinelli accelerates, keeps the ball in play, level with his own penalty area. Arsenal still 2-0 up. Rice on the edge of his box, little slip there by Lee, springs back to his feet, but Rice clears it. Havertz was trying to roll away from Pacho, but Paris Saint-Germain still showing their quality, get the ball back. This is Lee. Hakimi has gone on ahead of him. Around the back of Kiwior, comes on the inside of Rice, goes down under a challenge from Kiwior. Referee had a good view of it and says no penalty.
Oh, he's been probably Saint-Germain's biggest threat, Hakimi, down this right-hand side, and he was at it again there, cut inside two Arsenal players inside the penalty area. And you mentioned Kiwior just about timed his tackle right. He certainly dangled the leg and cut across Hakimi, but got just enough of the ball. The PSG are on top at the moment. I think it's Arsenal that are trying to work their way up the pitch. That's a good ball up to Havertz.
And they're going to make changes, Luis Enrique. And for me, one of the players who's coming on was one of the standout performers at the Euros in Germany. Fabian Ruiz, the 28-year-old Spanish midfielder. He played in 6 of the 7 games. He scored 2 goals, but he was a real eye-catcher. And Kolo Muani is the other player, the French international, who's going to be coming on. Hull City have got a third. QPR 1, Hull City 3. Inter lead Red Star at San Siro 2-0. That's in the Champions League. And Harrogate have got a goal back. Harrogate 1, MK Dons 3 in League 2. So Luis Enrique, changes being made in a bid to get his side back into this game. And Arsenal are also going to make a change. And Mikel Moreno, of course, part of that successful Spanish side alongside Fabian, is going to be coming on for what will be his Arsenal debut after they signed him from Real Sociedad for £27.4 million, and then he had the misfortune of a shoulder injury in his first training session. But Mikel Moreno will come on just to try and shore things up, as Arsenal still in a comfortable position with 28 minutes remaining.
Yeah, they are, but they've conceded to a lot more possession in this second half to PSG, but also there's a threat of getting hit on the counter-attack, where when you're up 2-0 up at home, you cannot be getting hit on the counter-attack, and I think he'll try and make sure he puts a stop to that.
Vitinha passes the ball to Nuno Mendes, central position, now out towards that far side. This is Barcola, a few yards in from the touchline. Paris Saint-Germain playing from left to right as we look, looking for a way back in. Here is Vitinha, a curling ball in the air, needs to change his boots, does Lee. It's the second time that he's slipped. I think the rain has finally relented, but it's obviously very soft underfoot. Here's Vitinha, strokes it now to João Neves. Arsenal really have dropped back. Every red and white shirt back in and around their penalty area, as Mendes into the penalty area to Barcola with his back to goal. A curling ball now to Marquinhos, who shoots, strikes an Arsenal player. That was Gabriel. They get it now to Martinelli. Chance to open his legs, and he's away. And Martinelli has Lee going back with him. Martinelli carries the ball to the left corner of the area. Lee slides in. Martinelli was caught. Referee says no foul. And the ball will go out of play for a throw. And it will now be a chance to make the changes. And whilst the changes take place, we'll get an update at St James's Park in that League Cup tie.
15 minutes to go. Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0. Eddie Howe trying to put this game to bed. Guy Reich and Anthony Gordon have both come off the bench. But Wimbledon, while it's still only 1-0, still in this cup tie. Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0.
And from Tyneside to Wearside, Rob Law.
Sunderland 2, Derby 0. Paul Warne, the Derby boss, has made a quadruple change, and it almost had an immediate impact. Blackett-Taylor introduced, and his shot saved at the front post of the Sunderland goal. Craig Forsyth has just gone close as well, but still Sunderland 2, Derby 0.
So Kolo Muani has come on for Doué. Thomas Partey is coming off for Mikel Moreno. So Mikel Moreno will... This is the reaction for his Arsenal debut. Delayed through injury. Nice ovation for him. And Vitinha was the player to come off for Fabian. So the Spanish midfielder is on. Meanwhile, that sending off for Lincoln has proved costly. They were third in the table this morning, but Steve Bruce is looking for a 5th straight win, and Kyle Joseph, with 16 minutes remaining, has given Blackpool the lead at Bloomfield Road. Barcola is attacking far side for Paris Saint-Germain. Ball squirms away. Saka didn't keep it in play. The assistant referee on that far side has indicated it will be a throw to Paris Saint-Germain, and we still have 25 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and what the introduction of Moani does is it puts, and he's gone right up front and stood just on the inside shoulder of Gabriel. He will try and occupy those two Arsenal centre-halves. It's where PSG have lacked in this game. They haven't had somebody to really trouble those two Arsenal defenders. They moved the ball wonderfully in the second half. They forced Arsenal backwards, but you've never felt that they could put the ball in there, or felt a cross or something hopeful was ever going to work out. They're having to be so precise. He may change that.
Familiar feeling for Accrington Stanley. They took the lead, but they are now behind. Cheltenham 2, Accrington Stanley 1. Paris Saint-Germain attacking. Cross from the left-hand side by Mendes. Took a deflection, it's gone behind for a corner kick in front of where those Paris Saint-Germain fans have filled that quadrant on that far side, the bottom tier here in the Emirates Stadium. The French tricolour I can see being waved away in amongst a lot of bare-chested supporters on this damp evening in North London, hoping to see their side work their way back into the game with 25 minutes remaining. It'll be Lee to take it. This should be an out-swinging corner. Indeed it is. Stabbed to the near post, off the crossbar. Comes out now to this near side. And then it's Barcola trying to roll away. Hakimi tries to burst through. But a combination of Moreno and Saliba holding up. But Hakimi wins it back. His low ball. Stopped by Trossard. Back inside his own penalty area. And that is another scare for Arsenal. Paris Saint-Germain have a throw.
Yeah, absolutely a scare. They had a warning in the first half when Mendes hit the post. They've had another warning in the second half. It was really good in the way he got across that front post area. Just got enough of a touch. I think it was in front of Kiwior. Hit it down into the ground, and Havertz couldn't react quick enough. It bounced up directly over his head and hit the crossbar. And I think it was Barcola coming in at the back post. It just looped over his head, as he could do nothing but watch it go over, and Arsenal got away with one.
They're probing of Paris Saint-Germain. Here is Lee, right-hand side. Arsenal now having to show their work off the ball as Fabian with an effort from distance, 25 yards out, left-footed, curling over the top, out for a goal kick.
Well, we know they could defend Arsenal, and they defend as a team. Well, they started this second half being aggressive on the front foot and actually winning the ball back from PSG in their half. But since they've actually got deeper and deeper, and not only are they not getting the opportunity to get out, they're actually still trying to play, but giving the ball away in really poor areas, allowing PSG to sustain attacks, win the ball back quickly, mount more and more pressure. They've done it again.
João Neves, who actually hit the crossbar with that run towards the near post, and now the Portuguese midfielder finds Lee. That moved in the air, left-footed, carried away by Raya. Kolo Muani can't get it out from underneath his feet inside the penalty area, and Moreno gets the ball away. They're knocking on the door now, Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, they certainly are. Arsenal can't keep possession of the ball. Mikel Arteta's just turned to the crowd around him, just trying to get them to help encourage his team, try and get them up the field, because they're certainly under huge pressure.
Barcola's cross from the left. It was a casual cross. It was blocked by Saka, who's back there on defensive duties. Barcola will try again. Twist one way, twist the other. Shifts it from one foot and then the other. Still doesn't deliver the ball. Plays it back. Laid off. João Neves goes square. Zaire Emery now towards Marquinhos. Runs forward, edge of the area. Leaves it towards Lee. Pushes the ball, gets it back. Back in field towards Zaire Emery. Playing in front of Arsenal at this stage, but starting to ask questions, even though they trailed by 2-0 midway through the second half. Hakimi now runs forward with purpose, right corner of the area, back towards João Neves once again. And all of a sudden it's with Hakimi. Every Arsenal player is back behind the ball here, in and around their own penalty area. Those French supporters swinging those red, white and blue scarves around their heads. It's quite a sight over on that far side. Wigan 3, Peterborough 0, Doncaster 1, Barrow 0, Newport 3, Salford 1, Borussia Dortmund 6, Celtic 1, and latest scores both domestically and in Europe here on this busy night of football, as Trossard gets it out towards Havertz now on the right hand side. Bit of respite for Arsenal. Calafiore playing as a right back then to Saliba. Moreno holds on to it, out to Calafiore. just to try and take the sting out of Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, they need to keep the ball. There was an opportunity to try and hit Paris Saint-Germain on the counter-attack there, but Kai Havertz probably wisely just took control of the ball, just brought it in, made sure he got his team up the pitch, and now they're benefiting from it.
Ball high, brought down very well by Havertz, just underneath his chin. It rolled down his chest. It enabled with that hold-up play for Arsenal then to get down the pitch, which they do. Martinelli on this near side, the left. Haven't really seen too much of Arsenal attacking that left-hand side of the ground as we look here low down, right of the halfway line for quite a while. Such has been the pressure that Paris Saint-Germain have been building. There's Kiwior, his ball to Rice, gathered in right-footed, around knee height, back towards Kiwior, playing as a left-back. Saliba. The Arsenal supporters try and find their voices now as well inside the Emirates with just over 20 minutes remaining, leading 2-0. Calafiore gallops forward, and going back with him was Barcola. Didn't go out of play. Gabriel Jesus is going to be coming on, so a change being made by Mikel Arteta. Bristol Rovers 3, Charlton 1 is the latest score in League One. I'll try and rattle through the scores very, very soon for you. Northampton Town 0, Bolton Wanderers 4 is the latest score in League One as Jesus waits. So in the EFL Cup, that rearranged cup tie, Newcastle United still lead Wimbledon by a 0-0. Commentary that is online on the BBC Sport website. I'll give you the League 2 latest scores. Bromley 2, Chesterfield 2, Carlisle 0, Notts County 2, Cheltenham 2, Accrington 1, so still without a win for Accrington. Doncaster lead Barrow by a 0-0. The leaders Gillingham are behind. Gillingham 0, Grimsby 1. Harrogate 1, MK Dons 3. Cross comes in, aimed to Kolo Muani, repelled by the Arsenal defence, cleared partially by Martinelli. And here is João Neves once more. And now Hakimi touches it to Lee, who's staying out wide on this right-hand side. Zaire Emery able to turn, right corner of the area, doesn't deliver. Lee though will, in-swinger, teasing ball, cleared by the Arsenal defence. Out towards Trossard, gets it away, but everybody's back, there's no out ball, keeps coming back.
Yeah, I don't think there's any panic in the way they're defending from Arsenal. They're not desperately trying to cover 4 or 5 yards. They're quite comfortable in the knowledge that they've done this before. They've been here before, but you're right, they just can't seem to keep control of the ball, to work up the pitch, and they're finding themselves getting deeper and deeper. And I go back to Muani again. Since his introduction, those two Arsenal centre-backs, instead of being able to step into midfield to press those PSG players that are playing in number 10 positions, suddenly they're having to stay all the way back, and PSG are picking up some very awkward positions in behind that Arsenal midfield.
Donnarumma's ball has been cut out by Rice midway through the Paris Saint-Germain half. Moreno to Martinelli. Arsenal lead by 2-0. Martinelli comes under pressure from Hakimi, runs back into his centre circle but maintains possession for Arsenal. I think I'd got up to Harrogate 1, MK Dons 3. Morecambe could be getting their first win of the season. Derek Adams against his former club. They lead Bradford City by a 0-0. Newport County 3, Salford 1, Port Vale 1, Colchester 0, Tranmere 1, Swindon 1, Walsall 2, Fleetwood 4. So the top two are losing. It means that Notts County, the biggest winners, to go within a point of the top, as they are 2-0 up at Brunton Park at Carlisle. And Arsenal thought they've got a corner kick, and it's left Mikel Arteta running down the touchline out of his technical area to express his fury at the fourth official.
Well, he's given a foul against Kai Havertz, who was the player running with the ball. We'll be able to maybe see it again. No, they're showing a different replay. They're showing that Lee shot from distance, which you're right, it really did swerve in the air. Raya made a huge jump to his left to make the save, and then ended up having to dive away back to his right as it swerved in that direction. Good save in the end.
Barnsley 1, Wycombe 2. Inter have got a third goal at home to Red Star in the Champions League. Bradford City have equalised, so Morecambe still may be denied their first win. Morecambe 1, Bradford City 1. Shrewsbury 0, Stockport County 2. Barnsley 2, Wycombe 2. So an equaliser at Oakwell, and Manchester City have got a fourth goal at Slovan Bratislava. Conor McNamara.
Yes, this absolutely seals it now. Slovan Bratislava 0, Manchester City 4. James McAtee has come off the bench. End of a lovely tiki-taka move. Past the way to the penalty area. McAtee from close range beyond the goalkeeper. Slovan Bratislava 0, Manchester City 4.
So Jesus is on for Trossard, latest scores in League One. Barnsley 2, Wycombe 2. Birmingham, the leaders, still unbeaten, lead Huddersfield by a goal to nil. Blackpool looking to make it 5 consecutive wins under Steve Bruce, lead the 10 men of Lincoln by a goal to nil. Bristol Rovers 3, Charlton 1. Cambridge 0, Rotherham 0. Cambridge still without a win. Crawley 0, Mansfield 1. Leyton Orient 0, Exeter 1. Northampton 0, Bolton 4. Shrewsbury 0, Stockport County 2. There's Arsenal with Jesus trying to turn inside the penalty area. Marquinhos gets the ball away. Saka plays it to Martinelli. Martinelli hits it low. Saved by Donnarumma. Down sharply to his left-hand side. Paris Saint-Germain get it away. Little turn now by Colomboani. Gabriel tried to pull him back. He was too quick for him. Colomboani running away here for Paris Saint-Germain. He's got Barcola up with him. Enters the penalty area. Barcola looks for Colomboani. But Arsenal's defence recovered and dealt with the danger.
Yeah, brilliantly. I mean, that was outstanding from Moani, just taking the ball, taking the challenge to Arsenal defence, running them back inside their own half, and he had support. Barcola on that left-hand side showed unbelievable pace to get up and beyond. And once he put it back across, Arsenal did have enough bodies back there, but who was the person to step into that position? You mentioned Saliba. I mean, he's absolutely everywhere defensively for Arsenal at the moment, backed up brilliantly by Gabriel. But again, I feel there's no panic when Arsenal are asked to defend, even in difficult situations. Some players running back towards their own goal, you can see their desperation. There's an assuredness about the way Arsenal's defensive unit go about that.
Yeah, they don't panic now. They're very resilient. They know exactly what they need to do, and then with that, they grow in confidence. They know all the scenarios in front of them. Shrewsbury 0, Stockport 2. Stevenage 1, Wrexham 0. So with Phil Parkinson's side behind, Birmingham could actually open up a 5-point gap at the top of League One. Wigan 3, Peterborough 0, Reading 2, Burton 0. Burton still yet without a win. There's a little bit of nonsense on the far side that the referee's having to call Fabian and Calafiore towards him. Gives me an opportunity to run through the latest scores in the Championship. Burnley lead Plymouth by a goal to nil. Cardiff 1, Millwall 0. Coventry 2, Blackburn 0. Luton 2, Oxford 2. Norwich City 1, Leeds United 0. I thought that was a Leeds United equaliser earlier on. The computer screen in front of me is saying that is not the case. No, it is a Leeds United equaliser. So there's a slight blip in the system. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Hull 3. Sunderland 2, Derby 0. West Bromwich Albion 0. Middlesbrough 0. So they're all the scores elsewhere. And in fact, Coventry 3, Blackburn 0. Fleetwood have got a fifth at Walsall. They lead 5-2. Harrogate 1, MK Dons 4. Champions League with 13 minutes remaining. And after all that little bit of there was Fabian was shown a yellow card by the referee Slavko Vincic, as was Calafiore, as they had a little coming together.
Yeah, it was something and nothing really. Fabian Ruiz wanted the ball back quickly to get on. Calafiore wasn't desperate to give it to him. A little bit of pushing and shoving. The referee gave out yellow cards.
Raya comes out of his penalty area. Buck quick throw taken by Paris Saint-Germain. Ball played into Barcola, losing his balance in the inside left hand of the penalty area. They're appealing for a penalty. It just popped up and hit a hand, but the referee has said no, and instead has given an Arsenal free kick.
Well, it definitely hit the hand of Calafiore. I mean, we've seen them given in European football. We've seen them given at all levels, and the PSG players, there's three of them around the referee now trying to answer the question. It takes a ricochet off Saliba, beg your pardon, and he's only 2 yards away. There's nothing Calafiore can really do about it. In my opinion, it's a natural running position, and then a panic because he sees the ball going towards his hand. But yeah, we're seeing Luis Enrique, he's down in front of us. He was screaming to the fourth official, but the referee unmoved by it.
And also, it's come off his own player. It's a deflection off his own player.
Yeah, but we've still seen them given for an awful lot less. So I think it was a heart-in-mouth moment, but you don't want to see handball for that kind of thing, where there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It's your own player. It's a situation like that. I'm glad the referee was wise in that assertion.
Somewhat of a charmed life at the moment for Calafiore, because many believe he should have been sent off against Leicester at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he was very fortunate not to receive that second yellow card. It looked to all the world like it would be for Arsenal. I'd probably say they're riding the luck a little bit tonight. That PSG have hit the woodwork twice. They've had a penalty kick potentially go Arsenal's way. So they just need to keep the concentration levels high now. 78 minutes on the clock. You've got yourself into a brilliant position. You know you can defend Leeds well. Make sure you see this one through.
Crawley 0, Mansfield 2, Cambridge 0, Rotherham 1, Northampton 1, Bolton 4, Harrogate 1, MK Dons 5 are all latest scores. The BBC Sport website, of course, will give you all of the full-time scores when they come in. As here is Declan Rice to Saka, helps it on its way to Jesus, back with Rice once more. The 5 Live Football Daily will bring you all the reaction from tonight's games. And tomorrow night we're at Villa Park. What a cracking atmosphere that will be at Villa Park. Aston Villa against Bayern Munich. Quite fitting that it is Bayern for their first home game in Europe's elite competition. As there's been another goal for Dortmund. So Borussia Dortmund 7, Celtic 1 is a latest score from the Westfalenstadion in the Champions League. Manchester City leading 4-0 away to Slovan Bratislava as Kibio almost gets caught in possession on the edge of his own penalty area. Saliba is ahead of him. His diagonal ball with the aid of a deflection goes out of play for a Arsenal throw over on that far side, the right. And don't forget as well, the Stadio Dragao on Thursday night, Europa League coverage on 5 Live, Porto against Manchester United. But for Luis Enrique and Paris Saint-Germain, their unbeaten run at the start of this season is going to be coming to an end. And also, they've only failed to score twice in their last 25 games, and that was in those back-to-back games against Dortmund in last year's Champions League semi-finals. Come close tonight, but haven't been able to get a way back into the game as of yet, as Arsenal have a throw over on that far side, the right, that they take quickly towards Martinelli, inside right channel, the penalty area, hooks it. It was offside. They can't have been offside. It's from a throw. The assistant referee has indicated he was coming back from an offside position.
I think he's saying the ball went out, maybe, and it's a goal kick, maybe. I mean, it's tough for us to tell from this distance. Martinelli's not happy regardless of what decision was made by the official.
Well, Mikel Arteta looks equally perplexed, and he's having a word with the fourth official down below, as we'll go to the Hawthorns, where there's been a goal. Lee Blakeman.
Middlesbrough have got it. West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 1. Hayden Hackney with a shot, edge of the area, bottom corner. They deserve it too. West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Scored a fine goal at the weekend. So West Bromwich Albion behind at the Hawthorns, which means that Sunderland will be the new leaders, and in fact Burnley will leapfrog West Bromwich Albion into second as well, because Burnley still leading Plymouth by a 0-0 at Turf Moor. Inter have got a 4th goal against Red Star in the Champions League. Inter 4, Red Star 0. And we've got 8 minutes remaining. And do you sense now that the danger from Paris Saint-Germain has passed?
I get the sense that as long as Arsenal don't do anything silly, that they'll see this through. I talk about silly. PSG just had an attack down the left-hand side. Barcola got into a nice position. Saliba defended it well. And then inside his own penalty area, Calafiori took 2 and 3 touches and nearly lost the ball to Moani. Saliba had to then redefend it and make sure it went out for a goal kick. Just those moments. And Arsenal are, as mentioned, assured defensively. I don't think PSG have done enough to really break through with regards to scoring a goal, despite hitting the woodwork.
Barcelona have got a 5th goal against Young Boys in the Champions League. Cardiff City have got their first win of the season. They've beaten Millwall in the Championship by a 0-0. And Birmingham City have won again. Their 1-0 victory against Huddersfield, with Wrexham losing at Stevenage, means they'll go 5 points clear at the top of League One. Walsall 2, Fleetwood 6 is a latest score. The 10 men of Lincoln have got a goal back at Blackpool. Blackpool 1, Lincoln 1, Bristol Rovers 3, Charlton 2. Paris Saint-Germain meanwhile are attacking. Hakimi on the right-hand side links up with Lee. Hakimi was challenged by Kivior. The referee has played the advantage. Zaire Emery switches play out towards that far side, the left. 7 minutes remain of normal time. Mendes, stumbling, goes down towards the byline, tries to work it over. Does it go behind? Yes, it does. Paris Saint-Germain have got a corner kick. Far side, and indeed it's finished at Bloomfield Road. Blackpool 1, Lincoln 1. Steve Bruce's winning run comes to an end.
Yeah, despite what we said, we felt the game was going. PSG certainly haven't given up on this. They are starting to put players into really advanced attacking positions. They're realising that a defeat is a defeat. They might as well exposed themselves. Both fullbacks in high advanced positions, both wingers starting to come more centrally to really get players inside that Arsenal penalty area. So Arsenal have to be at their best.
They wait to take the corner kick as Reading now lead Burton 3-0, and it comes from that far side. Marquinhos with a header, looping over the crossbar. Port Vale 1, Colchester 1 is the latest score. Bristol Rovers 3, Charlton 2 is also a latest score in League One. Do you think we've seen two sides of Arsenal tonight? In terms of they were more progressive in the first half, and second half they've been without the ball.
I think we've seen two sides of Arsenal during games all season. I think they've showed what they've had to. I think they've been very pragmatic. I think when they need a goal, they go out and get one. I think when they've got a goal, they're happy to make sure that they try and steer a game through. And I think that was the case. I think this is a game that they felt not only was a winnable game, but an important game to win. And I think they went out to get those goals in the first half. Their tempo was very good going forward. There was a lot more hunger to go out and entertain, open up and score goals. And then, as we've become accustomed to, Arsenal know how to defend in these positions, and they've been less open, they've been less hungry to go out and expose.
Extend their unbeaten run in the Champions League to 6 games at home, and in the previous 5 they have kept clean sheets in 4 of those. Newcastle United have beaten Wimbledon in that rearranged League Cup tie by 1-0 at St James's Park, so they'll be at home to Chelsea in round 4. Blackburn Rovers' unbeaten run has ended. They've lost 3-0 at Coventry in the Championship. Burnley have moved second. They've beaten Plymouth by 1-0. Luton 2, Oxford 2 is how it's finished. QPR 1, Hull City 3, and Burton Albion have got a goal back, but it's a mere consolation. Reading 3, Burton 1 is the latest in League One. 4 minutes remain of normal time. João Neves hits a high, hopeful ball. Hakimi takes it high on the chest. But again, Kiwior, as a left-back, does well, deals with it, puts it out of play for a throw, because Hakimi's quick. He's a real threat when he gets forward. Still, the Parisian support jump up and down behind that goal as the ball is stroked by Zaire Emery. To Pacho, the central defender. Marquinhos takes over. 3 minutes remaining of normal time. Sporting have got a goal back in the Champions League. PSV 1, Sporting Lisbon 1. Arsenal have actually got to go to Sporting, the Portuguese champions, who have won their last 8 in all competitions. As Hakimi is fed down the line by Neves, enters the penalty area, pulls it back. He was looking towards Fabian. There was a slip there, I think, by Colin Mawani inside the penalty area. Arsenal get it away, and then Luis Enrique is furious. Enrique is enraged. A decision goes against him, and he's now getting taunted by the Arsenal supporters in front of us here as Arsenal will get a free kick. 2-0 they lead.
Yeah, but he's not happy. Neither is his striker, Mawani. As they broke forward and they got in behind Arsenal in this left-sided left-back area for Arsenal. It's good play. João Neves releasing Hakimi in behind Kiwior, and they did have bodies in the penalty area. I think they had 4 to Arsenal's 3. Mawani was trying to get away from Declan Rice, who saw the situation and really did grab hold of him and drag him back. There is a potential penalty check, but I think it occurred outside the penalty area. I got to see it the once, but he certainly did tug him back. There was a reason why he went to ground, Mawani, and it was quite cute from Declan Rice, but it was outside the penalty area, and as long as the referee doesn't see it, VAR can't call it back.
Well, it is Knights Kacijovic, who is the VAR official, who's had a look at it, but play is back underway. Sunderland have beaten Derby County 2-0 at the Stadium of Light, so they are the new leaders of the Championship, with West Bromwich Albion trailing at home to Middlesbrough by 2-0. That is the only game in the Championship, incidentally, that is still being played, an 8 o'clock kickoff at the Hawthorns. Arsenal lead 2-0. Gabriel Jesus, right side of the penalty area, and we have 2 minutes remaining of normal time. Paris Saint-Germain, who haven't really had to do much defending. In fact, the only effort I can recall for Arsenal in the second half of note was the Martinelli volley straight at Donnarumma.
Yeah, a moment that really should have put the game out of sight and eased Arsenal through the next 20-25 minutes of the game. It was a big chance, a very good save, albeit goalkeeper shouldn't have had to make. A chance to make the opportunity to make the save, but you're right, Arsenal have been very controlled in the way they've stepped forward and the way they've attacked in this second half, making sure that, yes, they may not score another goal, but they don't need to, as long as they keep PSG out.
They're a team now that has nous, Arsenal. You know, in the past, you could have accused them of having maybe a soft underbelly or a little bit of naivety. Yeah, there is a resilience about them.
And an experience, despite, you know, the average age in the team being only 26. And it's an experience that I think this PSG side will get over the next few seasons. The average age of their team is only 23. João Neves 20, Pierre-Emerick 18, Barcola 22, Doué 19. These players will get better and learn the cuteness and the moments of
travel to Inter in San Siro, which will be a test for them, as will it be against Sporting Lisbon. Imperative then, they've got the 3 points here tonight as Barcola tries to weave his way into the penalty area, but Arsenal defending in numbers, but a tired Martinelli has given the ball away. And now maybe for Lee, the South Korean, pulls it back. Hakimi off balance, strikes Luwani's hand. Cleared though by Kivior. Still Arsenal dig in, as we're about to find out how much added on time there will be here at the Emirates. Arsenal leading 2-0. And that goes in favour of Arsenal for a free kick. 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here on 5 Live.
Yeah, just as Bukayo Saka goes to ground, I think he's exhausted. Martinelli, as you just mentioned, did not want that pass to him a moment ago on the edge of his own penalty area. He had half a pitch of his own half and their half to run into, and didn't want to run, was just exhausted. When ball came up to Kai Havertz moments later, and he's been outstanding. He's been outstanding probably for 18 months now, and the way he held that ball up and won his team a free kick.
Arsenal are attacking right hand side. Jesus tried to burst his way through. João Neves took it away off his toes and then actually clears it off the Brazilian's knees, and it bounces behind and he'll go out for a goal kick. Arsenal are going to make a change. Lewis Skelly is going to be coming on because of what's happening in the Middle East. 5 Live Sport will come off air at 10 tonight. We will, of course, provide you with the Football Daily podcast with all the reaction to tonight's football. But all the latest news developments and a full roundup of what's been happening at 10 o'clock on BBC Radio 5 Live. And, of course, don't forget breakfast in the morning from 6 o'clock on 5 Live, as Lewis Skelly is going to come on for Saka for what will be just the third appearance for the 18-year-old midfielder.
Yeah, wonderful opportunity to step into a game of this magnitude. Saka, as I mentioned, went down. He was exhausted as well. They've worked really hard, especially without the ball in the second half, Arsenal. Saka and Martinelli certainly feeling the effects of that.
European debut for Lewis Skelly. Made his debut only recently against Manchester City. Had his first start against Bolton in the League Cup. Manchester City, talking of which, have won 4-0 away Slovan Bratislava. So Slovan Bratislava have conceded 9 goals in their 2 opening games in the Champions League after their thumping by Celtic. As Nuno Mendes delivers a cross, blocked behind for a corner kick, and Manchester City, after that goalless draw against Inter, will move on to 4 points. A reminder in this format, the top 8 qualify automatically. 9 to 24 you go into a playoff. Young Boys have got a consolation. Barcelona 5, Young Boys 1. Paris Saint-Germain have a corner kick, bounces its way through and gathered in by Raya at his near post. And we're already through 2.5 minutes of the minimum of 4, as only now is Saka making his way to the dugout and getting a standing ovation from the supporters around us.
Yeah, he deserves one. I mean, he's been involved in the second goal. He won the free kick. He's scored it once he got up off the ground, and he's skipper in the side tonight, even for a player of his age. It shows the career he's had, and to now be a leader of this team when Odegaard's not available, it's a testament to him and his character.
That Young Boys goal incidentally disallowed after VAR, so Barcelona still lead 5-0. We're inside the last 60 seconds and Arsenal are leading by 2-0. Havertz header, his 5th of the season after 20 minutes, and then that Saka direct free kick going all the way through 10 minutes before half-time. There have been the odd scares. Paris Saint-Germain have hit the post, they've also hit the crossbar, but Arsenal, who've been very defensive-minded in this second half, have still restricted David Raya. or shots to David Raya to what, 4 at most, maybe 5 at a push.
Yeah, I don't remember him having to make an outstanding save. I don't remember seeing him scrambling across his goal.
Swerving one in the second half and his near post in the first.
Even that one ended up being right in the middle of the goal. It was the fact he jumped left to come back right. And I suppose when I was outfield player, if you're limiting your goalkeeper to 4 or 5 shots from distance that are all pretty central, very, very savable, I think you've done a good job.
Paris Saint-Germain in the last moments have got a free kick, curls towards the far post, comes out to Zaire Emery, touches it out to his left. Fabian plays the ball down the line. Barcola now swings over the cross. Marquinhos has stayed forward, but Raya assured handling. And as the referee is about to blow his full-time whistle, you think, and there is the full-time scoreline, and David Raya stays on the ground, but with clenched fist celebrates. 4 points out of 6 from a testing start for Arsenal in this Champions League campaign is more than a satisfactory start.
Absolutely. This victory makes that result in Atalanta look even better. It really does back it up, going away to a difficult opening game, keeping a clean sheet, then playing PSG, a team of quality, a team that you said have scored in 25 games running, and keeping them to a clean sheet as well. Just outstanding defensive performance, got the goals they needed. I felt it was a game they were in control of. Arsenal felt they played within themselves. They got the goals when they needed to, and then they defended them in that second half. So they'll be really pleased with the open to their Champions League campaign. I'm sure Mikel Arteta will be hoping for much more the same when they step into their next game at home to Shakhtar.
Well, they're up and running with their first win in this new league phase. First half goals from Havertz and Saka, and Arsenal have beaten Paris Saint-Germain by 2-0. Kelly.
Ian Dennis and Leon Osman at the Emirates for us this evening. And Leon, I know you said this is a really high quality PSG side, and they certainly were better in the second half. But sometimes the worry for a side that comes away, gets a really good win in this competition, is what it might take out of them. This looked quite comfortable for Arsenal.
Yeah, it did. I mean, for all of the quality I've said about PSG having, and they were better in the second half, they did miss a Dembele, somebody that can just get you a goal. They've obviously moved on Mbappe in the summer. They've somebody that can take the quality and the build-up and the way they play, the technical gifted play, and just provide a magic moment out of somewhere. They don't have that tonight, so Arsenal were very assured in the way they defended. They made sure that they didn't allow Barcola to get in behind, and other than that it was shots from distance. So yeah, they'll be pleased with how they defended Arsenal. Yes, PSG played really well, but as I said, yeah, despite them hitting the woodwork twice, once from a set piece, one from a left back stepping forward at one moment, I felt Arsenal were comfortable.
That Arsenal defence, I mean, you mentioned it there in the wrap-up with Deno. They're another clean sheet for them, and they have been so effective. I mean, I know it's not rocket science, but if you've got a strong defensive base and you've got players who can score goals, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, the only slip up or lack of concentration, you'd say, from Arsenal's defence this season was here against Leicester, from a 2-0 position to find yourself 2-2 and having to then rely on the attacking side of the team to go and get them out of trouble. Was the only poor moment for Arsenal's defence, but then their attack went and did it for them, and they've got good balance from that this season. But yeah, they conceded 2 goals at Manchester City, but they played with 10 men for over a half against one of the outstanding teams in world football, and managed to keep it to the last second goal conceded. Other than that, Arsenal have been outstanding. What I do say about Arsenal is they don't defend as a back four, they defend as an 11, they defend as a team. Every one of them is part of that defensive structure. They all get back behind the goal, they attack together, they defend together. They don't sort of do it in 2s and 3s where they leave 2 or 3 up to hit on the counter-attack. Everybody is involved, and everybody will be proud of the clean sheets they're keeping.
And the other thing, Leon, that there's been a lot of talk about this season is the maturity of Arsenal, the fact that they can manage these games, that it's not, all about just, getting everybody forward, that there is a balance to the side.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. At times they do it with more possession than the opposition. Today they did it with less possession than Paris Saint-Germain. Also, I think it was 38% possession. But they know how to defend without the ball. Luis Enrique said before the game, Arsenal are one of the best in the world without the ball. This is a top team. This is a team that we think is competing for the Premier League, a team that could compete for the Champions League this season. So they have to have quality in possession of the ball. We've seen that since the arrival of Mikel Arteta, but now we're seeing the whole package. We're seeing the whole team come together, and they do look like a really strong outfit at the moment.
Go on then, you brought it up, so I'm going to follow up with it. 2 games into this new season of Champions League action, is it a competition that Arsenal can win?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd say, do you think Manchester City can win this tournament? And I'd say pretty much everybody would say yeah. And Arsenal went toe-to-toe with them in the league, in the Premier League all last season. We expect they'll go toe-to-toe with them again all this season. So certainly a competition that they've got the quality to win. Whether they have got the experience to win and the European nous to win yet, they've been growing at it year by... Well, they grew at it last year. They were at a European competition at the highest level for a few seasons. So they are building towards it, but I do think they're capable.
Leon, Andy, and there's going to be more from both of you in the Football Daily podcast. That's going to be available to download later on this evening on BBC Sounds. You'll be able to listen to that through in the morning, and there'll be lots of reflection on Arsenal's 2-0 victory against PSG. It's their first victory in this new Champions League format, and it was relatively straightforward for them against European opposition at the Emirates. In our other Champions League games, Borussia Dortmund thrashed Celtic 7-1. Gavin Wallace was watching. Gavin.
Goals from the spot from Emre Can and Siro Guirassy were teamed up with a Karim Adeyemi hat-trick, plus a second from Guirassy as he followed up his penalty with a goal that was so cheap and naive from a Celtic point of view as the visitors tried to play out from the back. The £18 million striker snatched it off Johnson, rushed into the box, turned Liam Scales and slotted home. Felix Nchacha came off the bench to score the final goal and put the home side into 7th heaven. Humbling night for Celtic. Dortmund 7, Celtic 1.
Gavin, thank you very much for that. Manchester City got a comfortable, very comfortable away win against Slovan Bratislava. Conor McNamara.
Yes, Slovan Bratislava 0, Manchester City 4. This was never in doubt. City undefeated now in their last 25 games in the Champions League. Gundogan and Foden scored in the first half. It's Gundogan's first goal since returning to the club. City hit the frame of the goal 3 times before half-time. Erling Haaland didn't see much of the ball in that first period, but Rico Lewis picked him out. A lovely through ball in the second half, and Haaland took it around the goalkeeper, side-footing in for 3-0. That is 42 Champions League goals for Haaland now in 41 games in the competition. And he was taken off with James McAtee coming on, and McAtee was to get in on the act too. He made it 4-0. City rested Edison. They had Ortega in goal, and the German did not have a single shot to save in the match. It finishes 4-0 to Manchester City.
Conor, thank you very much. And rounding up the rest of the Champions League action from this evening, John Bennett.
Barcelona up and running in this season's Champions League. Kelly, their first win after losing to Monaco 2 weeks ago. Barcelona 5, Young Boys 0. Robert Lewandowski with 2 of the goals. He's got 96 now in his career in the Champions League. Elsewhere, Bayer Leverkusen have a 100% record after 2 games. They beat AC Milan 1-0. Victor Boniface with the only goal. Milan hit the bar near the end. After their 0-0 draw with Manchester City, Inter beat Red Star Belgrade 4-0. Marko Arnautovic, one of the goal scorers. And before tonight, Sporting had won all of their games this season, domestic and European, but they were held to a 1-1 draw by PSV Eindhoven and needed a late equaliser.
John, thanks very much for that. Newcastle safely through to the 4th round of the League Cup. They beat League 2 Wimbledon 1-0. Here's Charlie Slater.
A penalty won by Miguel Almiron and then converted by Fabian Schär at the end of the first half was the difference on a night where Newcastle, sure, deservedly won, but Wimbledon did their travelling 1,500 fans proud ahead of a 5.5-hour journey home, and that's if the roads are kind. Newcastle are through to the 4th round for a 4th time in 5 years, and they'll host Chelsea at the end of the month after beating Wimbledon 1-0.
Thank you, Charlie. Into the Championship, Sunderland are set to go top after a 2-0 win against Derby. Rob Law was watching at the Stadium of Light.
Yes, 2 goals either side of half-time. The first, a stunning strike 20 yards out from Joe Bellingham for his first of the season, straight into the top corner. Then Wilson Isidore, his second in as many games, a tap-in from close range after a driving run from Romain Mundle, who was a constant threat all night long. Derby did ask questions in the second half, but it was comfortable, really, for Sunderland Kelly. Their winning run at home continues, while Derby are yet to pick up so much as a point on their travels. 39,000 saw Sunderland 2, Derby 0.
Rob, thank you very much for that. West Brom are the team that Sunderland have overtaken at the top of the table. They're set to drop to third. Are they still playing though, Lee Blakeman?
They are, Kelly, into the dying seconds. West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 1. Hayden Hackney's strike from the edge of the area is what separates the two teams. West Brom have had big chances to equalise, both falling for their top scorer Josh Madger, poking one wide from inside the 6 yards area, firing another into the side netting. West Brom are going to drop off the top to third. Borough heading 6th, and there is the final whistle. It's ended West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Lee, thank you very much for that. So Burnley will finish the night in second after a 1-0 win against Plymouth. Elsewhere, Blackburn have lost in the league for the first time this season. They were beaten 3-0 by Coventry. Cardiff have their first win. It came 1-0 against Millwall. In League One, Birmingham have moved 5 points clear at the top with a 1-0 win over Huddersfield. Second place Wrexham were beaten at Stevenage. And in League Two, the leaders Gillingham were beaten at home by Grimsby. Walsall are down to third. They were thrashed 6-2 at home to Fleetwood. There is lots more reaction to tonight's games on the Football Daily. It'll drop later this evening on BBC Sounds. Our Champions League coverage continues tomorrow night. Mark Chapman will bring you all the build-up to Aston Villa against Bayern Munich. Thomas Hitzelsberger and Nader Manua will be in the studio with Mark, but that is it from us this evening. Nick Bright is up next on 5 Live after the latest BBC News.